Good morning everyone, Tater here. Welcome to Tater Games. Today we are talking about your comments that you leave. You guys leave some great comments. Sometimes you prove me wrong, and sometimes you just speak like an idiot. But we'll just go over a lot of the stuff from last night, and we'll take a look and see what people have to say about this week's videos. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Let's do it. In the last few weeks I've been getting more comments, more subscriptions and more DMs, Discord messages, Facebook messages than ever before, and it's really consuming up a lot of the time, even just reading rather than responding to them. There is so much stuff to look at. Sorry. So what I have here, I've pulled up the comments page and we're just going to take a look. If I might refresh that because it's been a while. Oh wow, okay, there we go. A few more, just a few. Top of the page, I think hero shooters will be the next big thing. Alright, I don't know what that is. Hero shooters? Now we have Adrian. Banana Bread. Longer videos please, hoping for an isometric shooter tutorial in the vein of Enter the Gungeon. Enter the Gungeon isn't isometric, I believe. It's just 2D top down. What's the difference between using a Unity art asset and hiring an artist to make art for you? You're still using someone else's art for your own game. Yeah, but you take a look at this. You start to hire somebody, you have a lot more control over the outcome. If you hire somebody, you're not going to just go and hire anyone willy-nilly. You hire somebody who can do the art style that you envision in here. Since you are paying them money, you want a product, they are going to provide you with that product. The asset store has limitations on what you can get. If you want an environment to look a specific way, there is no guarantee that the asset store is going to have something like that. Remember, you should cater your models, you should cater your music, you should cater your characters to your original idea. You shouldn't be changing things just because, okay, well, we can go in the asset store and pay $20 for this package. It's slightly what I want, but because it's not exactly what I want, I have to change these other three aspects. Well, you came up with an idea originally, and if you're not going to try and make that one idea, then what's the point? You should have just gone straight to the asset store and found the asset, then come up with the idea. I really value the gameplay and the game's performance. If there were to be a game that didn't crash as much as PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds does on my PC, at least, I definitely choose it over PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. The entire premise of that video is that happens all the time. There are so many early access titles that deserve a much better game. Of course they are in early access, but I don't know why I bought Battlegrounds, but I do find it entertaining even though it is in early access. So I'm imagining if somebody else released it before they end up actually finishing the game, or finished optimizing the game to run on people's PC, if someone uploaded a game that was perfectly optimized, oh, in a flash, I'm moving to that. But of course this requires a lot of dedication and the speed to push something out faster than these guys can start making changes to their game. You want to take their audience, essentially. And then you're thinking, well, that's just wrong, taking someone's audience. That's life, that's competition, that is game development in a nutshell. You have to share the audience. The audience cannot be all in one spot. The audience cannot be spread out evenly amongst everyone. The audience is very popularity driven. They'll go for whatever they know, whatever they're familiar with. They'll head towards that direction. They're not going to head towards the direction that no one has played necessarily. You know, there are some hipsters out there, of course, but the vast majority of us always go with what's popular, usually through word of mouth. Oh, it's called Infaminer. My previous video, I didn't know what the first like Minecraft game kind of thing was. Infaminer, thank you. Banana Bread. Hey man, can you make a video on the steps to take when creating a video game? For instance, when to start coding, when to start map development. Thanks, I'm really starting to enjoy your videos. Thanks man. Well, when it comes to the process you should take, remember there are only 3 things that you need to do in order to create a game. Not necessarily market and distribute it. In order to create a game, you just need gameplay, visuals, audio. Those are the 3 things that make up games in its broadest sense. And the idea is that you can actually start on any of them and work the other 2 into it. You can start on music, for example. You have another 2 areas to do, but your story could be music driven. You make music, then you make gameplay, then you make the visual side of it. or you can make the visual side of it gameplay, or you can mix and match them up. There really is no right way. I'm a terrible person when it comes to keeping a pattern of finishing something before starting another thing. So if I make the audio, I will usually make one track first. Sometimes I get inspired by that track to make an entire game, and then I will move on to making the gameplay around that audio and making the models around that audio. And it works in every other aspect of the game. So sometimes I'll just jump between all three because I get bored of working on one. So I'm sick of working on audio, move to gameplay, do some code. Sick of doing that, move on to visuals, do some Magica Voxel stuff. There is no set law to making a game, but yeah. I agree with you. I talked to my boss as a game designer about the surging popularity with Battle Royale genre like half a year ago, but I don't think you'll be able to compete with them without having a big budget anyway. That is true. It's going to be extremely hard to compete with things like Battlegrounds, but again, at the same time, I don't believe that they started with a large budget. When they worked on H1Z1, they just had the hype, and their marketing was purely through YouTubers. It wasn't something that was kept appearing on your Facebook page 24/7. They just took something that people wanted, which was a decent free roaming zombie game. I mean, again, H1Z1 was just trying to be DayZ, but more made for today's times. DayZ was kind of dying out. DayZ was, I don't believe, had a standalone at the time, and then H1Z1 came out, and H1Z1 dominated that market, and I'm pretty sure people stopped playing DayZ and started playing H1Z1. Anyway, they came up with King of the Kill then, and then now they have Battlegrounds, which is, again, an improved version of King of the Kill, which is like, it really solidifies what I was trying to say in that video, that this is true. This pattern happens all the time, and it's important for you guys to be a part of that pattern, or you're just going to be left behind or left doing smaller projects, and you really want to aim for the stars, you know, you want to aim for those really big stuff. I can't agree with your closing words. I think, sure, you can get successful, he means, if you ride with the popularity hype train and just make a game better, but I don't think it's the only way. There's so much room to come up with a new idea. What someone maybe will copy later and make it better, but here comes my crazy idea. What if you were to recopy the idea of your own and make that even better because you are the one who started it all? Well, it's essentially a sequel to your own, but with all the good ideas you have learned from copying. Copying a game to get successful will result in the death of innovation. Again, it's not copying the game, mate. It's taking their idea and improving it. I have a cup. If this cup came without a handle first, and I added the handle, and I sold it with the handle, I'm not selling the original person's idea. It is not copying, it is innovation. This is what innovation is improvement upon someone else's ideas. Improvement upon your own ideas. It's not, you know, you want to create your own original thing. Everyone wants this. However, this is what is the opportunity exists to take your idea, improve it, make it better, and then leave you in the dust as they have, you know, not spent a lot of time coming up with the original, but spent a lot of time coming up with this new and improved version. And quite frankly, I think it is to their benefit, and I would bow down to the person who created the improved version rather than yourself who has the original version, just because they have taken the time to take your idea, make it better, and publish it, distribute it, and do everything that you did, but better. So it again may not be the original. This is just the ruthlessness of this field. So it's definitely not the death of innovation, and yeah, there is more ways to become successful in the game dev industry. You can always take risks. The thing is, bandwagoning onto something, it comes with slightly less risk. You may not get as much marketing and stuff, but the idea is that people will still be quite interested in something that is relatively common game type for its time, or relatively new. People will just play it or take a look at it because it is new, and word of mouth will travel a lot faster than if you tried to make something like a MOBA. No one's going to say, hey, have you heard of Speaker of Legends? You'll say, no, I haven't heard of Speaker of Legends. Oh, you should play it. Why? Oh, it's better than League. Yeah, no one's going to start saying that unless it truly is better than League of Legends. It just goes to show how People like to go for popularity rather than maybe what is truly good quality content. That goes with critique as well. Critique is sometimes just nullified because their opinions are always swayed, as everyone's is, with what is popular, what is the new look. We find people attractive because they look a certain way, right? Go back into an alternate reality and a different animal kingdom, different things are attractive to different beings, all based on popularity or what is the average and what is considered this and high and what is considered low, and that all gets just mixed into a thing. No one controls it, it's just how we think. So hopping on the bandwagon of popularity is extremely important because that is where the money is, that is where the extreme success will always be, is not you know, around this area. I kind of disagree with your conclusion. Jumping on the bandwagon only works for teams that have large budgets who can actually afford to spend the time to polish and market their games. For small indies, it's probably best to pick a niche that you love and work and become an expert within it. You probably won't become a millionaire overnight, but you'll eventually make enough to live on and probably enjoy life a lot more if you're constantly trying to pursue the next, more than if you're trying to constantly pursue the next big thing. I suck at reading. You are correct and incorrect. Different people on this planet. Some people want to pursue the really big things. Some people want to do something purely because they're passionate about it. But these people who want to pursue the big things are just passionate about those big things. So, you know, there is a potential within the 16,000 subscribers that I had that one of you guys is somebody whose passion is to become successful purely, not necessarily game development, but their passion is to become successful, and they'll take any means to try and do that. Those are very inspirational people. They're very motivated people. The people who do things passionately, yeah, I guess you love game development, you perform game development, you may not get anywhere, but you're okay with that. And that's a hobby, and that's something like that. You know, and that's fine, but these are just two types of people that in different ways that they think. Me, I don't. I like to think I'm in between them, but I can't really be the judge for myself. What you say at the start, this is only available for people who make big games. Well, you've got people like Negligent who have very little money put into their game development. The guy who was making the MOBA that I was talking about, he manages to get a team full of people working for free, knowing that they have great faith in this idea. If you are good enough at talking to people, if you're good enough at convincing people, you do have the ability to form your own team and actually make that sort of stuff without spending much money at all. Given if you are truly passionate about that success, you will spend money on it. And if you don't have money, you will find a way to make money without, you know, you go and get a job, go and work some nights or work on the kitchen, do something. Those truly passionate people will start from the bottom up if it means that their death or if it means humiliating themselves. They will go and work day and night to try and get the funding to try and start that career and to try and push themselves to making this game way up to the top, and that's just the way that they'll think. So if you're not willing to do all that type of stuff, then you're not as passionate as those people. That video is not necessarily not for you, but it is just to expose you to this is the way some people think. Now, as for me, it's not something I'm definitely not willing to spend any money on it, knowing that there's a potential to make it without spending any money. Again, it's just personal preference. If you don't think that it's possible for you, then it probably isn't possible for you. But for a lot of people that watch that video, or a few people that watch that video, to them, they're thinking, I'm going to bloody do it, and it's going to happen tonight, and they're just going to start that night, and they may be extremely successful one day. We never know. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. You guys are all great. Your comments are all great, and there are so many, you know, other comments out there that were probably worth talking about. But those are the ones that piqued my interest. Those are the ones that caught my eye. So thanks to everyone for watching this week. Hopefully you guys had a lot of things. I'll see you tomorrow, which is the final video of the week. And it will be making a game, so we'll actually get a little bit practical. I'm sorry, I'm really, really tired for this one, so sorry if it was slow and a little bit boring. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll have a bit of fun, get motivated for the weekend. Thank you guys.